JonBenet Ramsey. JonBenet Ramsey was an American child beauty queen, born August 6, 1990, Atlanta, Georgia. She was the younger of two children of Patsy and John Ramsey. She had a brother named Burke, who was 3 years older. Her body was found December 26, 1996, in the basement of her family home. Her murder is still unsolved. Timeline: December 25th, 10 p.m. JonBenet had been with her parents at a family friend's party at the White's house. She fell asleep on the car ride home. John and Patsy Ramsey maintained they last saw their daughter alive when they put her to bed on Christmas night. December 26th, 12 a.m. One of the family's neighbors remembers seeing a light on in the Ramsey's kitchen. 2 a.m. Another neighbor allegedly hears a scream coming from the Ramsey's home, followed by the sound of metal on concrete. Years later, they backtracked their statements, stating that they actually heard the noise 2 nights prior. 5:30 a.m., Patsy Ramsey gets up to make coffee and reports finding a 2.5-page note on the back staircase, stating that JonBenet had been kidnapped. The note claims to be from a small foreign faction, demanding a ransom of $118,000 in cash, and signed STBC. 5:45 a.m. Shortly after finding the note, Patsy calls family and friends the Whites and the Fernies. 5:52 a.m. Patsy finally calls the police, detailing the supposed kidnapping and the demands on the ransom note.
There's a ransom note here.
It's a ransom note?
It says SBTC. Victory. Please.
Okay, what's your name? Are you
Patsy Ramsey, I'm the mother. Oh my God. Please.
I'm sending an officer over, okay?
Please.
Do you know how long she's been gone?
No, I don't. Please, we just got up and she's not here. Oh my God, please.
Okay.
Please, there's somebody.
I am, honey.
Please.
Take a deep breath for me,
Please,
okay?
hurry.
Patsy.
6 to 8 a.m., officers arrive at the Ramsey residence. JonBenet's parents have friends come to help search the home, including the Whites and the Fernies and Reverend Hoverstock. Victim advocates and crime scene investigators are also present on the scene. Investigators fail to secure the crime scene. 10:30 a.m., John Ramsey goes missing for at least an hour, leaving the house to supposedly pick up the mail. It's later determined this couldn't be true, given the family's mail was delivered through a slot in the front door. 1 p.m., Detective Linda tells a resurfaced John Ramsey that the police will be conducting a search of the house. He and his friend, Mr. White, join in. 1:05 p.m., John and Mr. White discover JonBenet's body in a spare room in the basement. She suffered a skull fracture and strangulation by a garrote. Her mouth and neck are bound with duct tape, which John removes. Further tampering with evidence, he carries her body up the stairs to the living room, and somebody puts a blanket over JonBenet's body. 1:30 p.m., police search the basement and wine cellar for further clues. They finally secure the home, preventing further arrivals. 1:40 p.m., John Ramsey calls his pilot and is allegedly heard asking him to prepare a plane to Atlanta. Law enforcement instructs the family not to leave town. 5 p.m., heeding the officer's warnings, the Ramseys leave their house with plans to stay the night at the Fernies' home. 2:30 p.m., police conduct an interview with JonBenet's brother Burke, which reveals the 9-year-old had allegedly slept through the events of the previous night. At some point after this, his father is advised to procure an attorney, which he does. An autopsy was done, and the results state that JonBenet was hit on the head from possibly a baseball bat or a flashlight, then 30 to 40 minutes later was strangled by the garrote. There was also pineapple found in her stomach. On the kitchen counter, there was a bowl of pineapple found with Patsy and Burke's fingerprints on it. Patsy says she doesn't remember giving JonBenet a pineapple. Suspects: John and Patsy Ramsey. The $118,000 asked for in the ransom note was reportedly close to a bonus that John had got the year before. Later, they could not totally rule out the ransom note didn't come from Patsy. Also, the note appeared to have come from Patsy's notepad. There was practice drafts of the notes found. Authorities say it took at least 20 minutes to write the note. Patsy's sweater fibers were found on the duct tape. The grot was made from a nylon cord and a handle from Patsy's paintbrush. The housekeeper also says that Patsy did it. There was a Swiss Army knife found by JonBenet's body. The housekeeper said, "Only Patsy would have put a knife there. I took it away from Burke, JonBenet's older brother, and hid it in a linen closet near JonBenet's bedroom. An intruder would have never found it." The housekeeper also allegedly said that the blanket that JonBenet's body was found wrapped in possibly came from the dryer. She said that there was still a Barbie doll nightgown clinging to the blanket, so it had to come from the dryer recently. Patsy would have known it was in the dryer. The housekeeper also reportedly said to the grand jury that Patsy had become very moody right before Christmas 1996. "I think she has multiple personalities. She'd be in a good mood and then she'd be cranky. She got into arguments with JonBenet about wearing a dress and a friend coming over. I've never seen Patsy so upset." John and Patsy Ramsey took a lie detector test, which they passed with flying colors. Burke Ramsey. Burke reportedly hit JonBenet with a golf club on the cheek in 1994. It was reported he apparently had a bad temper. A team of investigators believed a piece of a toy train track, like the ones found in Burke's room, could have caused an injury on JonBenet's back. The housekeeper. The housekeeper and her husband reportedly had keys to the house. Also, allegedly, Patsy claimed to investigators that the housekeeper was struggling for money and asked Patsy for a loan of several $1,000s. Gary, a registered sex offender, was arrested for trespassing and other charges in 2000. Officers found him in possession of a photo of JonBenet and a poem about her entitled Ode to JonBenet. In 2016, he was charged with sexual exploitation of a child. He is accused of uploading at least 20 images of child pornography on his email account. Michael. The private investigator hired by John and Patsy Ramsey to find out who killed their daughter claims that it was him. He had a hat with the initials SBTC. His family owned a junkyard on the outskirts of town, and he confessed to the killings on a recording, claims one of his former co-workers. A former employee claims to have heard details about the confession and says someone close to Michael has the tape. He committed suicide less than 2 months after JonBenet's murder, but according to the Ramsey's investigator, he was killed. Bob. I found a video online with a supposed FBI informant that kept trying to get the authorities to pay attention to some tips she had about a pastor that lives in Colorado who allegedly is a leader of a cult.
You see that I'm fine, but on the inside there's a dying soul. My heart is so kind.